where it's just not sexual, where it's just not what I can get from you, just communicating with one another, saying hello, saying hi, but in a lot of senses, I mean, we all know as Black men, when we see beautiful, beautiful sisters, we're going to say something to her, unless we're shy or we don't feel confident in ourselves or we don't value ourselves as men. But that sensitivity lash out that a lot of men perform when a woman doesn't speak, like the F you did, all that stuff, I don't condone that. You know what I'm saying? That's not my move, because at the end of the day, because she didn't speak to me, she don't know me. She don't know the beautiful essence of myself. So why would I be mad at something I've never had, and something I've never really had any form of communication with? So I just keep it moving. Maybe she heard me. Maybe she has a clinical problem. Maybe she might be deaf. Maybe she's clinically insane. So actually, they save you from yourself if they don't speak back to you a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Because there are some crazy people crazy women out there that you don't need to connect with, and you're just not her vibrational match at the time, because everything is based on vibration, the frequency. If I speak to you, you speak back, that means we're actually on the same frequency. Just like the people on this panel, there's a frequency going on a lot of us don't know nothing about, and that's where the law of attraction comes from.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, you might have saved me. Hey,
that's what I'm talking about.
You saved me, okay, right. I don't want to waste my time with you there in the same case. So have a good day. Take care. Peace.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna go deeper.
And I hope I answered that question. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to.
No, I think that answers a question. I think what's deeper is, I like when you said about the frequency part, because it's true. You could feel the vibrations. Like me, I know when a woman kind of likes me even before she speaks, because you feel that. You feel the energy, right?
Right. And a lot of men don't understand about choosing signals. They don't understand choosing signals, not to cut you off. And that's really where we want to get men into, is understanding choosing signals with women, because sometimes women, a lot of times they don't want to be bothered because they may be going through a situation, or they might have had problems growing up, whatever it may be. And we have to respect that. The problem is that we think as men, saying something is the action that we want to appropriately go into when we're trying to get her number or match to her. And that's cool and all that, but look for choosing signals, because that's connected to the law of vibration. That's an immutable law that can't be broken. Sometimes the things you think you get is going to get you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful with that. So fall back, be a little more patient with the process, and you come in alignment with people that are on your same frequency. You don't have to force nothing into existence. If she don't speak to you, that's on purpose. Understand that.
Yeah, because I believe if a man forced that situation, they're just hollering at a girl, they don't get that vibration, they forcing it. And I mean, no offense, that might be rapo tendencies, man, because you ain't get that. You ain't get that vibration, even if y'all didn't say nothing to each other. But you could tell when a woman don't want to talk to you, and you still force that in. That's rapo tendencies, man.
I want to add to that topic.
Right.
A few months ago, it was a meme that went viral on social media. It basically said, if men didn't exist, or if men could disappear for 48 hours, what would you do? And like over 80% of the answers was some form of, I'd just take a walk. And I'm like, damn, as a man, if I want to take a walk, I take a walk. I never ever think about taking a walk, and to think that as a woman, you have to navigate the world like that.
Right.
So I just want to be cognizant.
That's deep. That's deep that you said that, man. I'm glad you brought that up as well. But everything has to do with self-knowledge. And so the knowledge of all knowledge is natural law, hermetic principles. And so once you have a better understanding of that, the masculine feminine principle is both in men and women, then you turn into having a better understanding of the interaction between men and women. Most people don't have knowledge of self-knowledge, and self-knowledge is natural law. And you got to get into these hermetic principles, because those hermetic principles teach you valuable information about the inner world within yourself, which turns into the expression that you give when you're in front of other people in the world, period. There's no breaking those laws, put it like that. I don't care what religion you believe in, I don't care what you think. There's 7 hermetic principles that you got to learn about. And one of the main ones is mental gender, that every man and woman has both the masculine and feminine principle within themselves. Your conscious mind is masculine, the subconscious mind is feminine. The conscious mind gives 10% of a seed to that subconscious mind. That's where you get tithing from. And so what you have to understand is that us as men, the conscious mind is really the protector of the subconscious mind on a regular basis. because you got to be careful what you let go into your psyche, what you allow to go into your subconscious mind. Because what the subconscious mind does, she never rejects your seed. She gives birth to it every single time. And this is in both men and women. And understanding that one law will bring you forward and help you bring you into a better understanding of what this thing is all about.
Definitely getting spicy. We're getting spicy today. I like what's going on. I like where it's leading. So Shabazz, and I know Shabazz got a lot of wisdom backed up. You've been holding out, you know. Let me ask Shabazz this question real quick. Because I like because Shabazz got a great mind too. So Shabazz, this question for you. Why doesn't anyone take a stand on how Black women are portrayed in the music and film industry? And this, you know, I kind of want to rebuttal that. I'm gonna let Shabazz handle that, but I'm gonna follow up with something after that.
Shabazz, you hear us? Right, you have no audio issue.
You can hear me?
You still
Yeah,
can't
I can
hear?
hear you. I can hear you.
I can't hear.
I think he needs to log out and log back in.
We got this, thank you. Yeah, so
log back in.
Shabazz is gonna log out. You're gonna log right back in. And we're gonna catch you. I'm gonna make sure you interject. All right. Use the phone. You can use your phone.
Hey, peace, brother. Y'all, are we doing Are we introducing ourselves before we speak? Because I didn't get a chance to. Did you guys want me to do that?
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay, so I don't want, I don't know if you guys are filming this and gonna chop it up or whatever, but I'm Kenyatta, the hip hop motivator. I wrote the book Culture Vultures with Damon Dash, a book called The Secret to Ballin', and a movie called The Secret to Ballin', starring Snoop Dogg, Chris Brown, RZA, Kelly Rowland, Faith Evans. I have an audio book called Think and Ball Out, connected to the book Think and Grow Rich. The name of my company is Hip Hop Motivation. I'm a barber by trade, been for many years, and you know what I'm saying? Thanks for having me.
We got 2 barbers, so that means in LA.
Yeah. You already know.
Trying to get, you feel me? You're trying to get this trimmed up. Look, you looking suave, you feel me? But yeah, man, we're gonna log in with Shabazz, but I guess Shabazz gotta log back in. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on to Edwin real quick. So Edwin, there's a question for you. So look, how should men communicate their emotions, or is it best that men do not become emotional in a relationship?
Yeah.
This is kind of, oh yeah, Shabazz, you back? You hear me?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Real quick, can we get a clap for Shabazz coming back in, man?
Somebody don't want this work.
Double working.
Yo, listen, man. I want it real quick. Let's get a clap for Shabazz, man, because he been, he's chilling. He got the penthouse in the background. He could be going somewhere eating Lay's chips with pina colada, feet up. Just give a clap for Shabazz coming back in, man. Real quick.
What's up, bro?
So look, we're gonna get this question to Shabazz. You ready?
Let's go.
All right. Why doesn't anyone take a stand on how Black women are portrayed in the music and film industry?
Because they making money from it. It's simple. It's desensitized. Especially in music, in my opinion. And as it relates to the music now, you see the artists are getting younger and younger with less representation and more irresponsibility. It's easy to just wave money in front of them, cars and jewelry, all the things that they didn't have growing up. So if you go into music now and you have an executive that has 2 artists, because it's bigger than it's more of a societal issue than entertainment. Because the design in society, in my opinion, is to destroy us and our culture and use us to do it. So if you take 2 artists that go to try to secure a record deal, and you have one that's talking positive and one that's speaking reckless, the one that's speaking reckless the one that's talking about drugs, the ones that's talking about bitches and hoes, the ones that's talking about killing and shooting and getting money and all of the fast lifestyle shit that they call it, the ones that's doing that are the ones that they're gonna grab, because those are the ones that add to the narrative that's being pushed. You know, we witnessing it on social media. Guys like myself and others who got something constructive to say, we get shadow blocked, we get blocked from Instagram Live, but people who doing TikTok videos with dudes dressed like girls and girls clapping their ass, like all of those type of things, you know, that are dubbed as entertainment and pretty much non-productive, those are the things that's being permitted and permissible on social media. So therefore, a lot of people who don't have anything, if you take a person that's broke and you give them an opportunity to have something that they never had, especially some money, they feel like, you know what? I don't really want to be negative. I prefer to be positive, but I'm broke. So if I gotta talk negatively, or if I gotta say these things in order to buy my mother that house or get myself out of the ghetto or better my circumstances or change my situation, then I'm going to do what they want me to do so I can change my circumstances. Look at our TV shows versus other TV shows. In order for you to be on Love and Hip Hop or, you know, in these other shows, you got to be willing to be disrespected. You got to be willing to be disrespectful. Otherwise, your storyline isn't considered spicy enough to be on. Like, we got to be throwing drinks in each other's faces and spitting on each other. And like, you don't see that shit on no other shows have to do that. But in order for us to get that little funky ass, whatever they paying per episode, we got to go on there and just completely disrespect ourselves, disrespect one another. Otherwise, then we're labeled as not being good enough to be on TV. And that's the narrative for us that's been depicted across the board. So the reason there's no stand being taken against it is because the people that's making the stand are the ones who are labeled as the haters. You know, you just mad because you ain't doing it, or you just mad because I'm getting the bag and you not, or let me do me, you do you. Like, it's so that's why when it comes to me, OG stand for offering game. I bounce this shit off the floor like a tennis ball, and as high as it go in the air, by the time it hit the ground, whoever want it, they'll grab it before it do. You can't force this on these people, man, because a lot of people are broke and fucked up, and they don't have no guidance or no direction, and they don't have nobody to tell them how to be more confident within themselves to say, hey, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that in order to be successful. If it's not what you want to do, if that's not what's in you and that's not what you want to do, then don't compromise yourself and do that. Stay patient and resilient and ambitious and do it the way you want to do it so you can sleep better at night. But too many people willing to compromise themselves, and that's a big part of the problem.
That's the truth. That's the truth. And I'm not gonna lie, I think it's definitely harder. I mean, don't get it twisted. There's still a lot of, you know, films and music where, you know, there's a lot of positivity on the African-American woman. But I'm gonna be honest with you. There might be a little bit more agenda because they can't say that, oh, the ignorant music or the ignorant content is the only thing that sells, because it's not necessarily true. Because a lot of us be wanting the other type of energy. You know, you had film like Love and Basketball. You have, you know, that's catered to African American woman love. You got Love Jones. You got a lot of other, you know, Kendrick Lamar. You know, Erykah Badu. You know, those type of people that catered to the African American community have a little bit upliftment. Tupac Shakur himself. You know, those artists are heavy in it, but I think there's more of an agenda on the industry when it comes to African Americans being, you know, exploited because I think it's a subconscious agenda. Are you guys familiar with the book Letters of the Willie Lynch letters? Are familiar with that? If y'all look at that, there's a part of that book where they talk about the process of even making a slave, you know, how, you know, after they beat them down and they stripped them, sometimes even with, you know, how they took the strongest men in the slave shack and they violate them way crazy in front of their wife and kids and then separate them, you know? All these agendas had a way of making a slave. So when they was to become free, mentally they were slaves. So with them being mentally slave, they still follow suit. So the same agenda is still kind of going on as we progress in the years, in the millenniums, in the 2020s and things of that nature. But they doing it through music, you know?
Right. Well, that's why, but it goes, you know, so that's really answering the question that you asked as to why a stances are being taken. Mm-hmm. You know, it's what we have to do. This is all, it's individualism, man. It's like somebody asked me, you know, because I'm in the world of entertainment. You know, I've been playing in the music industry most of my life, road managing, artist development, you know, project management, you know, and, you know, amongst other independent, you know, proprietorship, right? And someone asked me, how much money would it take for me to be happy? And I told them, from an industry perspective, whatever the dollar amount is where the goofy shit start. I think all that silly shit start around $20 million. I tell them, give me 19 million and some change. Give me $1 less than when the bullshit start. Because a lot of us have gotten activated to this whole chasing the bag narrative, that now nothing means nothing or nothing means more than getting the money. It don't matter. This is why so many niggas is fucking with rats now, because they don't care. Getting money. Nobody cares that this person don't have no integrity, they disloyal. It don't matter. He or she is getting money. So what has happened is people have forgotten that most of us, especially in that world of entertainment, most of us came from nothing. So when you get to a point where you forgot that you was living on oodles or noodles, you forgot that you was eating cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner sometimes. You forgot that peanut butter and jelly was your meal for the night. And what I'm saying to that is this: I'm not telling people that should be their means of survival still. If you can do better, do it. But never get so far attached to material shit and money that you forget. Once upon a time, you was able to survive without all of this money that you have. So don't put yourself in a position where you get money and then you mind fuck yourself to believe, man, I can't do it unless I got this much. Yes, you can. You can still, if you don't got that much. So if people get unattached so much to this money and how much money you have and putting money on top of money, at the end of the day, if your bills are paid and your family isn't wanting for anything and you're able to help your community and help that, like what more really rather do you quote unquote need? Because life only comes one moment at a time. Life moves so fast, it don't even come one day. It comes a moment at a time. So don't put yourself in a position where money becomes everything. Money becomes everything. So when it comes to us having to listen to these things about women in our music, because that's what this is really about. When it comes to listening to those things, then the conversation has to go across the board. Why? Because now women are participants in that narrative. It's not just the men saying bitches and hoes no more. It's women saying bitches and hoes. It's women calling themselves bitches and hoes. It's women calling other women bitches and hoes. Like, so this is not a man versus woman thing. This has become the norm. You know, this has become the norm where women is talking about, yeah, me and my bitches is riding tonight. Me and my bitches is out. Hey, bitch, what's up, bitch? You know, like it has become normalized. And I think it's a little bit harder to contain because a lot of women participate in it, you know, along with men. So the stand, you know, is not being taken so much, one, primarily because of the money, but two, across the board, the narrative and the dialogue has been normalized by men and women.
And that's true, because, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a victim to it too, you know?
We all are.
Just using the word nigga, you know, things of that nature. And it seemed like it evolved from like how we brothers play, what up, my nigga, to how women goes, what up, bitch?
Here's what it is.
Right there.
Oh, before you go on, we do have more questions. I do want to make sure we get to all the panelists. So we can get to the next question with Edwin. We're going to come right back to you, OG.
All right. So Edwin, I got a question for you. This one is they're in dire need. So look, how should men communicate their emotions, or is it best that men do not become emotional in a relationship? I got an answer for that, but you know, I'm gonna let my boy go crazy.
Yeah, honestly, I think we do ourselves a disservice when we try to hold all emotions in. It's just not designed for that.
You want to get in?
You know what I mean? It's that you're a walking contradiction. You lying to yourself. So some amount of emotion, I don't think is wrong for expressing. You know, some amount of emotion. Obviously, you don't want to get to the point where you don't have discipline and you're letting your emotions control your actions and you're doing something that you're gonna regret. But to completely keep your emotions bottled in, I don't support that, man. I think too many of us are raised that way, and I don't think it's as effective as we think it is. You know, it's all a show. We're just putting on a show for each other, because deep inside we know what we're really feeling. So I think a certain amount of emotions is okay to express, especially with your significant other. Just keep the discipline so that it doesn't control your actions and you do something you regret.
In addition to that, I would like to add that, if it's okay, that a lot of us men, we haven't come to terms with taking accountability.
I'm sorry we had to mute. We do have time constraint. Batman, you back on.
All right. I mean, you want to let the brother say he was saying something?
Yeah, I do want to get to him right after we finish the question with the panelists.
All right, cool. All right. So, Clay, we got a question for you, Clay. So look. Oh yeah, this is something. This is strictly for you. Does physical fitness play a role in stress men encounter when all right? Does physical fitness play a role in stress within men encounter when dealing with women? I don't know how that question is. Yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna try to figure it out. Hold on.
Yeah, we
give
gonna
me a
try to
shot.
figure it out right now.
Go crazy.
Hold on.
But basically, I guess it says, does physical fitness play a role? Basically, I guess what she's trying to say is that when a man works out, is that something that helps them be stress relief when dealing with women?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I get what you're saying, because I had
we need that, yeah.
I get what she's saying. So a lot of men do use workouts, right, to be stressed. But I guess the woman sometimes is scared of a man that works out too much because she probably fears that he's always overly aggressive. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny you said that.
And I can get that, because my stepfather, who I told you that beat my mom, he was a person that worked out crazy.
Yeah.
Work out crazy. You know what I'm saying?
But did he bring you with him to work out?
Yo, you know what he did? No cap. This dude is bugged out. The way he would punish me, bro, because I'm not gonna lie. When I caught him hitting my mom's, I stabbed him, right? Right from there, he was like, oh, You think you want to be a man? You want to stab people? All right. He spanked my boots, crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
But then he would say, all right, you gonna be a man? He would put me in the corner and have me lifting weights. But it was not lifting weights. It was like one of those hold the weights, and every time it dropped,
gotta lift it back
throw
up.
a shoe at you. So it still was abuse. You know what I mean? But his testosterone was very high.
Yeah.
So I guess what she's asking, I guess you're trying
Well,
to wonder,
is
it a
I hope she asked that.
Yeah, I think she's afraid like of men that work out because it shows that man is going through a lot.
Got a belly? You want a man that got a crazy belly that's out of shape that nobody's checking out? I mean, I don't understand that question right there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I get what you're saying. But I would tell this, I would answer this. It would be my standpoint just to clear it out for her. I think some men work out for health reasons and just want to build themselves. But then there are some men that have a high testosterone and they do have anger issues and was taught to like be aggressive when they're angry. And sometimes they cope that way. But I don't think you should be afraid of a man that work out.
You should never be afraid of a king. I mean, at the end of the day, I went through it. I was going through whatever I was going through in my relationship, and I had to work out. I couldn't channel my energy into fighting a woman. You can't fight a woman. You're gonna lose either way. So yeah, you gonna go get your body right, or you or her gonna go for that walk. Because when the police come to the door, even if the crib is yours or not, what they gonna say? Either lock you up, or they gonna be like, "Yo, go for that walk." It'll be something simple. So you gotta channel that energy so you can get tired, and when you go in the house, take that shower, you go to sleep. You definitely need that. Or y'all can work together, man. A lot of things you can't win an argument with a woman. First and foremost,
Facts.
Like these guys that be going back and forth with women, I feel bad for them because it's like I can see the relationship with them and their mother. If they could do that with a lady, their relationship is crazy with their mother. And then a lot of things start at home. You can't win an argument with no woman. You just can't. But channel that energy. Try to punch your bag and do some push-ups and some pull-ups, some jumping jacks. Do something that's gonna wire that energy to something else because you ain't gonna win.
Before we move on, I just want to give everybody a time check. I'm going to ask all the panelists to limit your responses to 30 seconds, if possible.
All right. I hope that covered it up. Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm gonna say 1-2 things though. I do feel I'm the walk-off king, but a lot of women don't like when you walk off. They want you to stay there and get that tongue lash.
I'll leave in a heartbeat. I'll leave.
All right, we're gonna move. It's Shabazz next, but I'm moving with Kenyatta to keep the rotation healthy. So there's a question for you, Kenyatta. So why don't Black men show more respect to Black women?
You said why they don't? I mean,
they said why don't Black men show more respect to Black women?
Well, me being a Black man that shows respect to women, speaking for myself, I show based on what I give myself. So if someone's not respecting themselves, no one can give you something they're not giving themselves. So anyone that's not respecting someone, woman or man, is based on what they're not giving themselves, and they don't value themselves as human beings. Value is not money. It's not so much, that's on the list, but it's bigger than money. It's bigger than material items. And a lot of times what's happened is, connected to what Shabazz said, is that we have a lot of feminine men. They're eunuchs spiritually. So they actually don't have, the gonads to stand up and stand on principles. And so what's happening is everything's feminine, everything's feminized. These men are just chasing the bag opposed to staying focused on bringing forth some type of honor, integrity, respect, and they don't care. You know what I'm saying? And so you can't give someone something you're not giving yourself. So respect is given based on what you give yourself. So, if that answers the question. And so we got to get people back in tune with self-knowledge and self-information, getting to know yourself. Like the best thing you can do to get in tune with yourself is sitting alone, solitude, meditation. I'm a big stickler on that. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about you getting in tune with yourself. It's all the individual effort. You know, all relationships are individuals in a relationship. You're always single. So it's about individual efforts to bring forth respect.
All right. I definitely, listen, being an individual, you gotta love yourself first before you could love anybody else. You know?
Can't give someone something you're not giving yourself.
All right. So Shabazz, we got a question. How does growing up in a single mother household affect men of color in the future with a significant other? Yeah, we kind of covered this topic earlier, but we're gonna go deeper with it. This is important. You hear Shabazz?
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, want me to repeat it?
No, I heard you. I believe that rests on the shoulders of that single mother, because a lot of people had a misconception that a woman can't raise a man. And what I tell people when they say that is a woman doesn't have to raise a man, because the child was already born a boy. He's going to grow into a man. What the mother does is raise someone respectfully. If that mother raises that boy with respect, if she raises that boy with morals and integrity, if she raises him to be kind to people in general, and she raises this person and instill goodness within him, then that boy is going to grow into a man. A lot of people think that just because a boy doesn't have a father around, he's doomed. You know, and will he miss certain things? Absolutely. Are there things that he can get from a father being there that he can't get from a mother? Absolutely. But just because the father isn't there, it doesn't make that kid doomed because he was raised by his mother, because it simply just means how much attention and how much love was that woman able to provide to that child. And that's going to more so dictate what type of man that boy becomes.
All right. That's a fact. And then it goes to the standpoint too. I believe that it takes a village to raise a child. That environment is important, because even it's gonna come a point where he's gonna get old enough outside of his mother's teachings, when he goes to school, his peers, things of that nature.
Yeah, for sure.
All
of those things, but again, it comes more down to, again, is it like me? My mother was a single mother, pretty much. She was married, but her husband was an alcoholic. He wasn't my father. So him and I didn't have the best relationship. So a lot of my influence did come from the street. A lot of my influence came from my uncle. I got outside influence. And some of the influences were good, some of the influences were not so good. But all of those experiences and influences shaped and molded me into who sits before you guys today. So when I look back at my father, my biological father not being in the home with me, and my stepfather not really nurturing me like he did my brothers and sisters when he could, I look at myself and say, wait, did my mother do so bad? I mean, yeah, I've been to prison. Yeah, I've made bad decisions. And my life went exactly the way my mother told me it would go at 7 years old. You're gonna learn everything the hard way because you don't listen. And she was right. That's been this testament of my life. But I wouldn't trade those experiences, because if I didn't have those experiences, I wouldn't be who I am now. So, a single mother, things may be a little bit more difficult, but it doesn't mean that you're doomed, because I've seen the worst of the worst come from 2-parent family homes.
It's a fact.
In the interest of time, we are at 7 o'clock. And I know we did it for an hour. It's up to the panelists. I don't know if the panelists have additional time to extend. There are a few more questions. Again, it's 100% on the panelists. If I get an okay from you, we can extend it, and I won't keep rushing y'all.
I can take one more. I do have another at 7:30. So if you got one more for me back, I can take
got you.
Then I won't be by else.
Lieutenant Raymond?
I do.
I got Kenyatta, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good for the next 30 minutes. I'm straight.
Okay, yeah, I'm about the same. I'm about the same too. I'm about the same because Tim, we gotta head to Jersey. You heard? That's it. But
yeah, it was 7:30.
Got it.
Yeah, so yeah, we can clip it at 7:30.
We have the next few questions. If we could pose the next question to Shabazz because he has a 7:30 hit.
All right, yo, Shabazz. So look, so toxic masculinity has become a coined phrase over the past year or so. Is masculinity so detrimental to women that it should be banned?
What the hell does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of, you know what I'm saying. Let me try to ask the question one more time. If not, then we just gonna move on to the next one.
I'll ask the question again. Toxic masculinity has become a coined phrase over the past year or so. Is masculinity so detrimental to women that it should be banned? There are some groups that are saying masculinity needs to be out, period.
Well, see, here's the thing about that. I think I'm going to take a stab in the dark at what I believe that means. At the end of the day, we're living in a society that's showing us that they want to bury masculinity. Like, we just gonna keep it a buck. Like, it's too many attacks on men. It's too many verbal assaults, on masculinity. It's too much forcing young boys to say that, I'm a girl. Oh, that's what I identify. He's 8. He identifies as being a girl. Like, it's just too much bullshit. Like, and again, I'm not one of the. I don't profess to be the brightest bulb in the chandelier or the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I do got half a brain, and with that half a brain that I do have, I pay attention, and we have to remember. We can put science behind us. We can put all of this fancy shit and just look at it for what it is. Our country, our society is operated by some very evil, demonic, low vibrating people who want to control everything and everyone. And because they have compromised sexualities, because they have demonic desires, because they want to go against everything in creation. That's what they want this world to be. So since we're controlled by the media, since we're controlled by entertainment, since we're controlled by government, the people who are in control, or quote unquote called the powers that be, these are the things that are being forced upon parents. These are the things that are being forced upon teachers. This is being forced and pushed upon society because this is what the narrative is for these people who run our country and our entertainment and our media, because this is what they're into. And it's easier to participate in some bullshit if you can force and train and trick or bully everyone else into joining your narrative, because that's the bullshit that they're on. So now when you step outside of that and you want to stay in a place of normalcy, now you become the weirdo. You become the rebellious. So it's not even about the women and what the women want. People are being tricked to believe, oh, well, it's normal, when it's not.
It's not normal.
The issue is, it's deeper than women wanting that. Women are just being put in a position where they have to accept it, because that's really what's going on.
That's a fact. That's a fact, because it seemed like there's a lot of movement against this, like, alpha males in general, especially in the Black community,
Yes.
And then a lot of women kind of want that more gentler touch of a man, and it's not wrong, I guess, to cater to their, emotions, and women should have a man that can adapt to sensitivity.
Let me add to that, because this is important. on the ground in our regular everyday life, that's not what we see. This is why I'm saying this comes from the powers that be that control narratives and images and social platforms. Because in our normal, everyday, regular life, when you go around the block in Brooklyn, if I go around the way in Philly, or if I go over here in Miami and Little Haiti or Opelika, you know, the round the way girls, they not looking for feminine men. They not accepting that. It's being put in our faces in media, whether it's news, entertainment, or social media. It's being put in our face that way as if it's normal. But it's not normal, and it's not as accepted as they think, as people think it is. This is why it's being pushed so much, because in real life, outside of media and social media, that shit not being accepted. I don't know any women in my real life other than women who are in that particular world and don't mind bisexual men because they're bisexual women themselves. Outside of that, I don't know any heterosexual women who are okay with a man who wants to dress like her, wants to talk like her and walk like her and be soft like her. That's not what's really going on in our real world, which is why it's being pushed so heavily through images and in media. So we got to remember that the shit that we're seeing is not necessarily what's going on the ground.
That's a fact. Word, that's a certified fact. Matter of fact, we're gonna move. We do have one more question if it's before 7:30, but you gotta drive to your meeting.
Yeah, I gotta leave my crib. If you got one more for me, I'll take it. I can get to where I'm going in 15 minutes. So if you got one more, I'll take one more before I go. Yeah.
All right. So look, this is the last one actually. So you good. So look, should a man ask for consent to be touchy-feely prior to a date or right before he wants to get touchy-feely? I guess the question is, should he ask permission before, he goes with the smooth, you know what I mean?
No.
Because I think when you ask permission, you kind of turn the girl off. Because she kind of wants you to be smooth.
I guarantee you.
But you got to go with the vibration.
Unless you know how, unless you really got that type of savvy, unless you got that type of, that type of comedic spirit, spirit within you. If you know how, first of all, men should know how to pay attention to women. So when it comes to dating and interacting with a woman, that whole thing about 85% of communication being nonverbal, that's real. Men have to pay attention to women. Women will tell you what they're trying to tell you without opening their mouth. There's a lot of things that women do without opening their mouth. Now, if you want to ask, I would suggest that you ask in a way of, from a perspective of, being funny or, or adding some humor to it as you do it. But I don't think, because if a woman touches me and I say, whoa, what are you doing? You didn't ask permission to touch me, woman. I'll never hear from her again because she's going to think I don't like women. Now, if a man does that to a woman, I think you have to be mindful of how you approach. I think you have to be mindful of how and where you put your hands or how and where you place your body. It's all about paying attention. It's all about paying attention. So if you paying attention to that woman, she's going to let you know without opening her mouth whether or not it's okay to approach her physically. She may even touch you. So it may just be, reciprocity. But again, it comes with your level of discernment. It comes with your level of experience with dealing with women. And it comes with understanding how to read that body language when a woman is speaking to you without opening her mouth. But me personally, I'm not going to catch a vibe with a woman and I can pay it and I'm seeing where it's going. And if I decide to touch her, I'm not going to say, hey, is it okay to put, unless I'm just playing coy at the time.
Yeah, that's true. That's vibes. Yo, man, we appreciate you, Shabazz. You know what I'm saying?
No,
get on that road.
I appreciate everybody. Hey, come here. I appreciate everybody for having me. Clay, I want you to see somebody. I want you to see my brother. What's up, bro?
What up, O?
What's good?
Got that hot red on.
What's good?
How I connect with you, Shabazz, through O. O put me on to you.
Representing the community, representing our brother.
You know how we do, okay?
No, man.
All right, yo, love you, O.
Yeah,
yo, Shabazz, appreciate you too. That's how I got put on by
man.
you.
He told me that I wanted to make sure he got a chance to see you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
All good.
So grew up together.
Having me, you guys continue to doing the good work you're doing, you know, collectively in your separate communities. And thanks again for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you, bro.
Peace, bro.
All right,
Peace,
happy.
So, yo, Edwin, we got a question for you. It goes, should a man risk his life to protect a woman from what she identifies as an abusive relationship? I guess to clarify that is, should another man intervene in another abusive relationship? Like if she's already in a relationship with an abusive man, should another man, you know, risk his life to protect that woman?
That's a tough question, only because it's up to that man's ability. Like I know what I'm capable of, so I know if I see it, I've done it a million times, both in my work capacity and when I'm just out in the streets. But I don't do it in a confronting way. Sometimes I just be like, brother, it's not worth it. Brother, let's take a walk. There's different ways to intervene. But I think as a society, as a community, to truly be a community, we got to get a little bit more involved. A lot of people got the I'm gonna mind my business mentality. Just last week, I'm watching video of a dude getting his head cracked with a bat on Parkside and Flatbush. And so many people are walking by, and I get it. That man got a bat. So, you don't want to tell him the wrong thing, but eventually somebody came and told him to chill, but he got that one last crack to the head. And that's the one that he didn't wake up from. He's in the hospital now to this day. So, I mean, this is not a domestic violence situation, but in situation where it is domestic violence, I think we can get involved a little more. But again, it doesn't have to be in a confrontational way. Sometimes you just got to be that quick spark of wisdom to make somebody snap out of it. Because we all have a threshold where we can lose control. Sometimes somebody just saying, brother, it's just not worth it. Just take a walk. We've all been there. Take a walk. We know how it gets. Okay. Take a walk. So in that sense, I think more of us could get involved. Now, should every man take those steps? Not everyone is capable in the same way. So I'm not gonna hold someone accountable if they truly just, whether they're too timid or if something wants to go in the wrong direction, they can't defend themselves. But as a community, we can get more involved. But again, it doesn't have to be confrontational.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little ignorant when it comes to that. It's hard for me to see a dude just wild out and pounce a girl. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm gonna go crazy. I couldn't see a dude just. I don't care if it's his girl or whatever situation may be. If I see him actually cock back, punch, and do all that extra in public, I'm gonna go put hands and feet. I don't care. It is what it is. And the homies gonna get something.
Yeah, I get it.
And the homies gonna get something. In front of police. Matter of fact, the homie right here, Quest, what happened at our party? It was a dude, we threw a party at Quad Studios. Matter of fact, I think Avery was in here. It was a dude touching women in the staircase because the staircase is like 12 stairs. So Quad Studios happened to have a shutdown. And he's touching girls down. I don't know if he was high. And I said, what? The homies don't even wait. What? Peep, pop, pink, 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 pink in front of police. In front of police. And the police actually was like, what happened? He's a rapo. Punch him again. Police said, so shout out to the police, NYPD. He was like, he waited till it was done and let us go about our business. And I think more of that should happen.
I mean, if it's to the point where he's already like putting hands,
he was
on,
actually touching women's butt cheeks
different.
and like the finger going into their. But
no,
like,
I got you. I'm talking about when it gets to the point where
Spank City,
when it's starting to elevate, when it's starting to get loud. You know, he might be. You know, when it's starting to get to that point, that's when you could jump. But if it's to the point where he already put hands on her, listen, hey.
It's just a time where it's still a woman, and yeah, some women fight, some women are aggressive, you know. But just like I said, you're still a man, and you shouldn't even put yourself in a position. That's another thing too. And you know, sad to say, I kind of learned this in jail. You gotta move a certain way. You can't put yourself in a position to even have that altercation. That's called thinking ahead. You know, if you know it could escalate on this realm, and the type of person, you shouldn't even be dealing with that type of woman. You know, but that's my standpoint on it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move on to Clay, we have a question for you. Okay. Can also ask community leaders what he is doing. All right. So basically, she wants me to basically ask you, what are you doing? But can also ask community leaders what he is doing and for additional recommendations to address mentorship. So basically, what are you doing for your community? And what would you recommend us men to address mentorship in the community?
Well, every man that got a nephew, son, little cousin, talk to them about how to deal with women. Realize, I know you probably see brothers and sisters fight all day, but you bring that brother with that sister together and you let them know, listen, would you like if it's a total stranger or somebody else up the block was to be yelling at her or treating her that way? Would you like it? And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get your answer right then and there. I think more men should be men right now, stand for something instead of just, because right now it's cool to be a homie or a big homie, you know, which that shit really don't mean nothing.
It's fair.
You got guys that give funny handshakes and hugs, but when they go in the house for the person that got the roof over their head, they're not even giving them a hug. They don't even want to do those dishes, don't do nothing. So it's up to us as men to break that cycle. You know, how we a generation that went from kids to teenagers to niggas and bitches. Like, it's supposed to be prince to king, you understand? So we gotta reshape that, you know, we gotta alter, it ain't too late, you know what I'm saying? There's enough murders that's out there, there's enough kids that's getting locked up to show, okay, they didn't follow these rules, this is where they went, because the streets is undefeated. The graduation of that is prison to death, you know? I couldn't beat them, you can't beat them, and you know, it just keep changing over and over and over. They think they doing something new, but it's nothing new. So we got to break it down to them, not say, tell them an old story that you been to, but just be like, yo, it's not necessary. Tell these kids the real, you know, instead of keep lying to them.
Yeah, that's a fact. I definitely believe that because there's a lot of older homies, especially in the gang culture. It is a lot of older homies that kind of influence the kids to do the dumb shit, you know?
How you feel about that? Let me interject with, like, say there's the big homies, right? And the little kid, he go out there, he put in that work. And when he put in that work, and when he get locked up, and he realized what that older dude did to him, he gonna come over and do what?
Yeah, he's
destroy
gonna
that so-called big homie.
Yeah.
You know, so you gotta be mindful.
And then the same big homies that would tell the little ones to go put in that pain, don't even have bail money for them. Don't send no commissary. They might send a kite out until make him to do something. I seen that. Yeah. Don't even send him no kite, no commissary, but send him another kite. Yo, there's an op on the other side. And you still want to make him do more pain?
Now he go to jail. None of the homies is there. He got to start all over. You know, depends on what community he from. He get banged up, and there's no Crip doctors, no Crip lawyers, none of that. Nobody's there. But who's there? The people that you shitting on, your parents. When you shitting on your family,
it's a fact.
Because one thing, the mother and the father, you know, they the ones that never leave that courtroom. They the ones that never leave that hospital. You know, I don't see a lot of people fold when real things come upon them, you know? And like they said, you know, you're supposed to protect the women and kids. A lot of kids, when they get caught up, don't be surprised when they become rats, because they are kids. A kid mind developed at the age of 26.
Yo, I'm glad you brought that up too. I do see a lot of rat culture because there's a lack of loyalty.
Yeah.
Because it's like 9 times out of 10, when you feel that genuine love, you would never turn your back on somebody. You know? So for somebody to do a crime with somebody and then rat on them, there was no genuine bond or love from the get-go, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm not trying to say, yeah, you should go do some crime, whatever, things of that nature, but just the morals and principles of just having some type of integrity and loyalty instead of just following the rap videos, because it's like the rap music is the big home.
Television.
You know,
Remember when we was younger, it was videos that came out every 2 months. Now these videos come out every week. And they rapping about men. They ain't rapping about no girl. When the last time you seen a song? They rapping about men, other dudes and stuff like that. But as adults, we supposed to pull that kid to the side. Look at the brother. He just came home, Bobby Spurler. What he went to jail for? He went to jail because he said, yo, his man caught a body about a week ago and pointed at him. That same dude did what? How many years now? Yeah, they home, but nobody looking at the real about it.
That's a fact. You know? But it takes a lot of leadership change, you know? Because, you know, to be honest, I grew up as a Crip, you know, in my community in Brooklyn, New York. And I'm an integrity person. I for sure took an oath. So I'm not going to sit up here and be that person that, oh, he changed his life. He's a business owner. He's successful, and turn his back and go chill with the suburbs. You know, I need to remain a Crip and learn and give them information of what took me to change my life. You know what I mean? Because that's how you fix a problem. There's too many people, and there's a lot of ex-gang members who I really don't agree with, and they found information or awakening to better their life, and they'll just turn their back on all the homies. That shouldn't be the case.
But it's either the homies gonna get you though.
Huh?
It's either one day the homies gonna get you.
Yeah.
We see that so much times in the culture.
But you know what I say? A leader is a leader, because
absolutely, and leaders create other leaders to push them in the right direction.
Exactly. That's what a gang is.
If you know what didn't work for you and your homies, why put that little kid out there for that?
Exactly. You know, like right now,
because the whole
homies right here now.
Let me show you something too. One more thing, right? If you was to get booked, right? You think all the dudes gonna be in the precinct with you? You think they all gonna be in the courthouse with you? No, that's a fact. But guess what? The ones I deal with, the ones I teach with, if I was to get in trouble, I know for a fact they will be there for me, or for one condition. They know that I always was there for them. And I would not lead them in the wrong direction. So if I get booked right now, to this day, it's gonna be by accident. The best way to help, best way to help is
almost 7:30, guys. So we do want to get to the next question, y'all.
Yeah, right. My fault.
Now we're gonna talk offline, back. We're gonna build.
Yeah, because all right. So Kenyatta, I got a question for you. No, yeah, I do got it. Yeah, here you go. All right. Do you think men are in conscious or unconscious competition with women in general?
Well, that, again, to me, I like for myself, I can only speak for myself. I'm not in competition with man, woman, or child.
Yeah,
you know, you know, that's just, I mean, but as far as today's generation and as far as like the people that are out here dumb, deaf, and blind, yeah, a lot of them are, because they don't have true knowledge of self. And until you really get into and get in tune with self-knowledge, nothing is going to change, because, you know, we've all been raised by people, we all been raised in dysfunctional households one way or another. You know, our parents did the best they could. There's no such thing as a so-called perfect parent. you know, the formative years are the most important times of all of our lives, you know, just like the format of a computer is the most important part of a computer. But the only thing is that, you know, from these things that we've been, that have been uploaded into our consciousness as children, it shows up on our screen, the screens of our lives as we become adults. And then we realize that we have to upload new software, just like the computer. You know, you have to bring forth updates. And those updates come from, you know, studying, reading, learning, being in panels like this, having discussions. And so, you know, competition is only in someone's mind when they don't really understand their own true value. And again, value is not just based solely on money and material things. True value is spiritual, you know. So if a person gets in tune with the spiritual side of themselves and they understand that, you know, everything they believe, everything that believe about themselves, they're believing in God, and everything that they believe in God is them believing in themselves, then it changes the dynamic and the paradigm for that person. But, you know, back to what you guys were talking about as far as, you know, the toxic masculinity situation out here, you know, that's an uphill battle against the bloodsuckers of the poor, you know, because the oppressors have programmed people through media, television, music, movies, and they hire these people to be in front of us to continue to keep us deaf, dumb, and blind. And there's not a large percentage of people that are conscious, but the ones that are conscious, they have to bring forth information through showing and proving. You know, we have to show people, you know, what happened and what worked for us. You know, it's us telling someone something that didn't work for you is ridiculous. It doesn't work that way. You know, like the young homies, I'm out here in Los Angeles, you know, we're cripping and blooding is like eating breakfast. And so, and I've been seeing it, like I grew up in the 80s. So, you know, out here, it's if you from LA and you came up in the 80s, you know, you've been hitting your mouth before. You've been asked where you was from, you know what I'm saying? And if you didn't say the right thing, it's gonna be a problem. I grew up in the 60s. So, you know, in that hood. And Nipsey was my little homie. And one thing I realized is that, you know, everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to feel love and be loved, you know what I'm saying? And toxic masculinity really comes from not really having self-discipline, you know, and again, based on what you guys are talking about in this panel, being that we must protect our women, and women are being raped and molested, little children being molested, and all types of disrespectful things going on. It's based on not having discipline. Not having discipline is feminine for a man. Self-discipline is masculine. So it is a problem with toxic masculinity. That is toxic masculinity. Just like when a man becomes a giver, because giving is feminine by nature. And I'm talking about natural law here. So when you are a giver, the man becomes more masculine because he is in essence balancing out what is within himself, because we all hold the masculine and feminine principle, okay? And then for a woman, when she shows more self-discipline, she actually becomes more feminine, because self-discipline is a masculine trait, but it's a character trait that we all must possess to even have to even live and lead a good life, you know, because at the end of the day, like I said, we all have to upload new software of information into our minds and into our consciousness, because we all come from some form of dysfunction. We all didn't have parents that, you know, most Black people didn't have parents to teach them about finance. I'm one of them. So, you know, that means that I have to upload new information on finance to understand what I'm doing wrong. And see, it's all about going backwards, because if you keep moving forward with the same conversation, it's not going to fix the problem. You have to go back to where the problem started, and that's the formative years. And we all come from these dysfunctional people that learn from other dysfunctional people generationally, because you're talking about generational ignorance that has been passed down from one generation to the next. No, this is the right way to do it. No, that's the wrong way to do it. No, you got to do this. You got to have like I come from a household, and from my elders, having a lot of women meant masculinity. Having a lot of sex meant masculinity, but that didn't lead me into anything but having a lot of children, a lot of off-the-wall relationships and situations with women that I regret today. But that regret turned into getting more knowledge on women in general. And it started off with me understanding the feminine aspect of myself. And the feminine aspect is the giving aspect. You know, so many people are takers, because taking is a form of, you know, that's not where you want to be. You want to be a giver, you know, and like you're doing right now with this panel, you know, I'm not going to keep going on, but giving is very effective. You know, when you become a giver, that's when you're truly living, you know. And that's what I did with Hip Hop Motivation. When you saw me sitting there with Dane, that's why I shut up and sat there and let him talk. You know, even though what he's talking about is surface to me, you know, because it's money, it's physical stuff. I'm more based in spirituality and understanding, you know, what it takes to become a better person overall, with or without money. And that's what it's all about. The formative years is the most important time of all of our lives. And we have to go backwards to correct the previous problems, to bring forth new situations and solutions that can take care of what we're going through right now. And that's pretty much it, man. And I thank y'all for having me, man. Definitely.
Right.
I appreciate it, man.
7:30. We're just gonna have closing remarks from all the panelists that are remaining. Just one final word. It's 7:30. Bye-bye.
You want me to kick it off? My final words?
Right. We can kick it off with Kenyatta and lead to Lieutenant Raymond. And please let us know everything that you have going on. Don't leave that stuff out. Please don't leave out the Instagram, because everyone has a lot going on in this panel.
Absolutely. No, I'm gonna start off, you know, like I said, I'm Kenyatta, Hip Hop Motivator. My Instagram is @hip_hop_motivator. I'm on Instagram most of the time. I'm not really on Facebook as much. I have my book, Culture Vultures, Secret to Ball and Thinking Ball Out. Everything is based under my brand called Hip Hop Motivation. You can get that at www.myhiphopmotivation.com. All my products are there. I have a product, Mask Mint, which is a mask disinfectant, refresher mask, and then I have Bump Assassin Skin Astringent. That's also some separate things that I do. And the one thing that I want to leave everyone in is just always keep in mind that input equals output. So, and this is something that you always want to put in front of children, is that the things that you input always leads to output. So whatever's not going in here, it doesn't show up out here. So we want to be able to put in a good amount of information and the right thinking aspects into our minds and our consciousness in order to bring forth these things. Because, like, again, you can't give someone something you're not giving yourself. So respect is given based on the respect you give yourself.
It's a fact.
Thank you.
Edwin?
Yeah. All right. First and foremost, it's truly an honor to be on this panel with my brothers, fellow kings. Edwin Raymond, I'm a whistleblower. I actually have a documentary. If you check it out, you get a crash course in my work. I'm the lead plaintiff in a class action lawsuit against the NYPD, against the city of New York, to get rid of some of the discriminatory practices like quotas in Black and brown communities, locking up Black folks for next to nothing just to meet quotas and get more overtime. I'm running for city council. The people have been asking me to do this for 5 years now. I finally threw my hat in the race. And just check me out, edwinraymond.com, e.raymond_ on Instagram. And like I said, I have a documentary called Crime and Punishment. It's a Hulu documentary, but I was able to persuade Hulu to make it free. It's the only Hulu content that's available outside of their paywall. So check it out. It's on YouTube. Put Crime and Punishment documentary. Check it out. And let's stay connected.
Dope.
Clay, can you just give just a thank you, a final word for everybody? Let us know what you got going on, Instagram, etc.
Yes. Like I said, I'm ClaiSculpts, GQ barber trainer, community leader. I got a lot of good programs coming up for the kids under the Result Inc. I'm part of a movement on Black Ivy Media, Building Reason, with me and my partner Ace and Dominique DuPont. We're doing a lot of things out here in the community. In Brooklyn with the kids, traveling with them and, altering them. And for the mothers that's out there that don't have that father figure, whatever, feel free to contact us. Contact me at ClaiSculpts or either at Building Reason or Black Ivy Media. And we're going to be able to do something for these kids, hit us up, feel free. And thanks once again for having this panel. This panel was needed. Salute to Diggs, salute to Batman, E, and whoever else was up here, the brother OG Shabazz. This is definitely needed. King's building. And I had a good time tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. My name is Brooklyn Batman. I'm a recording artist. I'm a writer, an author, philanthropist, investor, entrepreneur in technology. As well as I have my own clothing line called SITC, which is motivated, of the concept of seeds in the concrete because I wanted to make a motivational brand. I love clothes, love fashion, but I'm not buying a bunch of Gucci and Fendi all day. I'd rather just make my clothes. And that's what I do, you know? And I just want to be able to still tell my stories because I have a lot of dark pain inside of me. So I use art to convey that situation. And hopefully people can learn from those things, my music, my books, my films, stuff like that. That's coming out. And I appreciate y'all joining. I hope y'all learn from this. We're probably gonna schedule something maybe possibly once a month. And just keep on building, man. Let the seeds be in concrete. Hopefully we all become trees, feel me?
Awesome. I want to thank all the panelists for joining us today. And most of all, I want to thank all the people that joined us today to listen in and take back some of the things that you may have learned, insight, or answered even some of your questions. Please be sure to check out the book, Seeds in the Concrete, on Amazon. The link's in the chat. I'm going to allow the chat to stay open just for a couple of minutes so you can get that link and purchase that book. You can purchase it for $2.99 on the Kindle and $18.99 on the paperback. And if you have somebody that's currently incarcerated, Brooklyn Batman is giving out some books to people that are currently incarcerated.
Yeah, just all this month, if you have a loved one that's in jail, I'm mailing it to them for free of charge. You know, they'll get it. Don't worry about it. It's unlimited until this month's over. We're celebrating Black History Month. So just, you know, just let me know who wants it. There's a link in my bio. You just click it and you just put their information. Even if you don't know their DIN number, just give me their name and their state and we'll find them and we'll mail them a copy of the book. And just put your email so you'll get a notification that the book is mailed out. All right, y'all. Enjoy your day.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Tune in. Don't be a joker. Bow.